Please subscribe, like, comment, and turn on the notification button so you are aware of our future episodes that you will love so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Film Biz Show Africa Rising International Film Festival edition. We are at the tail end of what was a phenomenal event that took place, and we've just finished witnessing an award-winning film by Mbali Mashaba called Umlindelo, a film that talks about grief, talks about healing, and the power of sisterhood. Mbali, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
What an intro. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I was trying not to bite my words there because I know that you guys have recently just been given a nod for an award in Rwanda, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, in Rwanda.
I mean,
yes.
that's phenomenal.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank
well done.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was like so unexpected because I had kind of moved on from the film, like working on the next thing now. And it was like such a nice like affirmation of like what we had done, and just knowing that all the hours that we spent into it, all the time that we spent into the film was like worth it. And to an audience that isn't our friends, like our community that in South Africa, but like an audience in a different part of the world, like watched it, understood exactly what I was saying, and like it moved them within the entire festival to a point where we won like the category. So it was like such an amazing like affirmation.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. But I mean, it's a very emotional film, although, it's kind of sprinkled with some nice moments of comedy here, there, between the sisters. And I mean, it's a, you'd say the kind of comedy that there is there, it's not really a slapstick, but just funny little moments that happen between family members. It's like a love-hate kind of relationship between the two, which if you know, you know. But I'd just like to ask, what exactly inspired this particular story? Because it seems like it's such a specific, experience that I'm assuming that's the reason why it has such good resonance with an international audience. But what is it that inspired this story?
I think just my own personal experiences with grief. I think when you go through a mourning period, there are many things that are happening in a very short space of time. Like as Black people, when somebody passes away, you have like a week and a half to like get your ducks in a row, grieve properly, go to the funeral, pray for the funeral, like just be on it so that we can honor this person and go through this process. So I was inspired by going through like multiple like encounters and experiences with grief, like back to back. And I had a lot of like unresolved feelings about, how I felt about certain things that we had to do in the home, ways in which people were choosing to grieve. Some people are like angry, other people are sad, other people are like nothing. Let's just work, So it was just inspired by like those, like all those feelings when you are grieving someone. The feelings, the memories, and just like that all-encompassing experience from my own experience. And then I worked with some really good writers. I had 2 writers in my writer's room. I pitched the concept to them. They liked it. And we workshopped the script like over a period of time. And I thought, okay, it would be interesting to do a story about a father figure and how 2 sisters perceive this father figure and how different the experiences are because of the relationship that they had with their dad. Same dad, just different experiences. And that's kind of the inspiration behind the project.
Yeah. And you could tell between the 2 sisters, the way that they react to the death or the loss of their father is totally different.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one wants to work, she's bossy, she's telling people they must cut the tomatoes at this precise,
precise size.
Exactly. Where the softy daddy's girl is really touched and she needs time to grieve.
Yeah.
She needs to almost like just let go, be alone, you know, and be in it. But now the process of writing about this, and obviously that culminating with your own experience of you know, of grief and you know, having a loved one pass away, what did you kind of come out with, you know, in terms of what happens once we cross over?
Yeah.
You know, did you have a certain, because I mean, it seems like you never get to tell us, we never get to hear, obviously, you know, once the father is gone, we never get to see him on the other side. And I think that wasn't a, you know, but we get a sense that he's there, you know. When you see in the dining room, you know, I was, as soon as the film started, just the way in which it was lit, you know, the lighting, it almost felt a bit dreamy.
Yeah.
You know, there was a bit of that.
Life and death, somewhere in between.
You get a feel, you know, so there's someone who's there, but you're not seeing them with your naked eye, you know. Did you have to kind of face those things while in your writing process to say, okay, well, lo muntu akekho, but somehow.
How do we?
Yeah.
I think the writing a character that's not there, what we did the flashbacks as to bring back like this man, but I don't think we thought about how he's present throughout the story that deeply. Well, I guess he's present in the memories of his children.
And their choices.
One's
perception is, you know, I stopped smoking. How I managed to stop smoking is I took a cigarette, put it in my mouth.
Just like he did. No.
He never stopped smoking.
That never happened.
By the way, I'm also a smoker.
Yeah.
Cheers, you know, and then boom.
Yeah.
You know, so it's those things. And you know, as an audience member, you imagine Utat is there sitting and he's laughing and seeing his golf, you know, so.
Yeah. I like that you picked that up. Yeah, for sure. I think, for me, it was just like, after the film was done, it was just closure. Like, I think the film helped me, like, get a lot of, like, closure about, like, this experience and my feelings, to be able to, like, put them on screen and adapt them into a story that people could relate to, but that is also, like, inspired by my own grief. So I think that the dad lives on in the dynamic between the daughters, and how they are grappling with his loss right now. And he lives on in the flashbacks.
Definitely. Very well performed, by the way.
Thank you.
You did mention.
Thank you to them.
Yeah, man. Shout out to
Zikona Mbali, Lungelo Madondo, Temba Zamini.
Yes. Shout out
for real.
Wonderful performances. But you kind of did mention that the struggles you went through as a producer, in terms of, you know, kind of raising the capital for the film. And I mean, it's something that my partner and I are constantly going through. Just when we think we're over a hill, we're like, oh my gosh.
There's a new one.
And there's, and
there's a mountain.
We're in debt again, you know. So how do you know, what was the process and how did you get yourself, you know, kind of to where you are right now?
It was really hard. So I did apply for funding, but I got it quite late. Like, I applied for funding in the beginning of the year and I got it at the end of the year. And between getting approved for funding and getting the actual money in the bank, that also took long. And I did not want 2023 to end without me having shot that. So I put myself in debt.
Oh, no.
I got a loan. I remember that day I was like, am I really one of those people? Abaya Shonisa. But I was like, you know, I'm approved for the funding. They're saying they're going to pay it. So I took out a loan and I was like, I'm going to make this happen. My mom also took out a huge chunk of money. And I was able to, like, have a really good set, like an amazing set, you know, really talented people that I worked with that were so invested into the story. I would say my biggest currency was the relationships that I had with those people. Like, they backed me. They read the script and they backed me. They believed I was going to do what I said I was going to do. And each and every single one of them, like, came in 100%. Like, that was my biggest currency. And even though, like, it wasn't, like, we didn't have all the money that we wanted to be able to do everything that we did, the relationships, like, were the reason why I was able to make this film. The collaborators that came on were the reason why I was able to. Even with post, like, I had to like go and, pitch to this post house. Like, this is my idea. This is what I've shot. This is what I want to do. Please take it. Please edit it. And they bought into it. They loved the story. They thought it was really promising. So I had to constantly, I relied a lot on the page, what was on the page, and just selling that to people, even bagging the actors. Like, I had to do one-on-one meetings with them and be like, this is my script. What do you think? And they were like, we love the script. I don't have money. I'll pay you in this way. They're like, it's fine. We like the script. Let's put it in writing. Let's do it. So I think like the takeaway for that is like, if you have a good story, like I even at some point had to do a crowdfunding, like a backer buddy thing, because I didn't have enough money for post. And I was just like, guys, here's the story. I wrote, some parts of like thematic things online, and I just raised a couple of funds to start post. And then my funding came in, and then that also helped a lot. Okay. So
did the funding close your loans or?
Yeah.
Okay, completely.
Fantastic.
Completely.
Okay, I'm debt free.
Okay. Better you than me.
You'll kill me. It closed all my debts. The Backer Buddy crowdfunding also helped quite a lot, to like carry the film, and just the currency continued. Like, I had to pitch every single time I was bringing on someone new. To be like, this is what it is that I'm doing. This is what I want to do with my career. And they bought it. They bought it because they believed what I was trying to do. They resonated with the story, and they were like, okay, let's do it.
So now I think it's also important for us just to get an idea of your personal journey, in this business, how you got in this business and how you got to where you are. I know you've worked extensively within the television commercial space.
Yes.
Which, I mean, has got good money, but can be very mechanical and, soul wrenching. And, sometimes you really want to be able to express yourself as a creative. But the genesis, how did it all start for you?
How did it start for me? For me, it started from like when I was young, my grandmother used to train me to like perform in Eisteddfod. Yeah. So I used to get on stage and like do prose, and I was really good at it. Like, I used to win awards like crazy. So that's kind of where like I entered that world. And then when I went to uni, I studied film and TV at Wits, and that opened up my whole world. Like, just learning about like everything, representation, the power of representation, like everything. It really just changed my life. And then while I was in varsity, I actually started making independent films on the side. And I made a documentary called Ubuhle.
Wow.
And it was about the politics of beauty. And it was like, oh my God, it did so well. Wow. Like, I got Lebu Mashile. I got like some of the best people in the industry, like, to just speak about like beauty.
I think I remember this.
Definitely. Like, way back when. Way back then. And I had nothing when I made that. Sure. I was just a student, and we were getting cameras. We were blending from people. Like, it was very much like we had nothing but a story, And after that did really well. I made a few others, like in film school. And then I went to Sweden. I studied documentary filmmaking for a semester at a university in Sweden. And that just changed my life even more. That opened me up to the business of filmmaking. That opened me up to curating and programming, which is what I do now, because I have a film festival now.
What's it called?
Real to Reality Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real to Reality Festival. Out. When I came back from Sweden, I was like, I need to do something big. Like, I need a place where people can showcase their films. I need to bring all these short films that everyone's making on the internet under one home. And that's kind of how the film festival started. And then I started the agency behind Her Lens as well, as like a mother to the film festival. And we did a lot of events where we curate films. We think of a theme, and that's the theme of the evening. People come and watch it. And it did really well. And then I took a break from directing because I felt at the time that I wasn't growing in the way that I wanted to. I was like, I really want this to be like a serious career where I'm able to take care of myself and my family. So I think I need to just go and learn somewhere. And then I went into TV commercials as a researcher, but I did like 3 other jobs while I was there. So that was my full-time job for like 3 years until like recently. I worked with some of the best directors in the country and like just crafting commercials week after week, month after month, year after year, local commercials, international commercials. That taught me how to put a treatment together. Yeah. That taught me the language of storytelling. Like, how do you articulate something to people? What are some of the things that you need? Like, technically, what do you need to be able to do that? It also helped me build relationships with people. I have a lot more credibility now because they know me from there, you know? And while I was doing this, I was curating, you know, and that career also started growing. I started curating internationally. I curated a film for a film festival called African Motion in Scotland. That was my first like international job, and they had a short film competition, so I had to watch like 250 films, like rate them and speak back to like what do I think, and then there's a short list, and then you watch more and more and more. But I liked it, and then that's when I realized like, okay, curating, programming, that's my thing. I really like this. That's something else I can do. And then, yeah, like my career as a curator started growing because it's not like something that's really big in South Africa, but I know that a lot of international organizations want to hear from curators that are like Africa based. So I guess that's like the advantage for me now. And I was able to grow my film festival from everything that I learned from these international festivals. And then I was like, okay, I still want to direct. I mean, that's why I came here. That's why I'm doing this thing, you know. I obviously wasn't doing that as a researcher, and I didn't feel like I would, like, yes, I see people directing their films every day. Yes, I help people win pitches every day. But what about my stories? What about some of the things that I want to direct? What about what I want to say, you know? And so I just decided to start writing, collaborate with people. That's how Umlindelo came about. I wanted to exercise that muscle, the directing muscle. Because I don't think you get better at directing from just sitting down and helping other people direct. You get better by directing. And every time that you direct, you get better than the time before. That was a lesson that took me very long to learn. But like, yeah, Umlindelo was like the beginning of me re-exercising a muscle that I had left for so long, you know, so I needed to get fit again so I can go for the next round. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much me. Now, I still am a researcher. I do it freelance though, trying to develop my own films, my own stories, and not be so desperate for work all the time. Like, not be so desperate to be with a company all the time. I think I just really need to figure out what it is that I want to say as a director, say it a few times in a few iterations of the work, and then I think everything else will fall into place. Yeah.
Man, that's wonderful. I mean,
I said so much.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. That's exactly what we're looking for. Because it's funny when someone sees you, you know, at the top of this mountain, they're like, how did she do it? You know, how did she? And I know for you, it just feels like it's a small hill. Yeah. But to someone, it's like, my goodness, she's able to create an award-winning film, you know, curate her own festival. You know, that's something that, you know, young creatives are thinking, how can I achieve what she was able to achieve? And hearing your journey, it's very inspiring, and hopefully some young upcoming filmmakers will definitely be inspired to know. Yeah, I know they will. Yeah. Otherwise, no, Mbali, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
It's a short conversation that we had, but your movie was very touching.
Thank you.
We live in a season where we're having a lot of ill family members who are passing, who are leaving us. And this is a story that's much, much needed. So, I just want to, on behalf of the Film Biz Show, just show my gratitude to you.
Oh,
and I'm sending you all the love and light. And may your journey going forward be full of so much fire that you just burn down every single door that's closed in front of you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this platform. Like, we really need platforms like this in this industry because people are creating all the time and nobody's talking about it. So this is like such a nice place to archive like those processes and just to be able to hear how people do what they do. So like, also thank you for creating this space.
We are working on developing masterclasses for young people.
I know, that's right.
And we definitely want the likes of you to be in that process.
I would love to, even though I'm a young person myself.
Yes, that's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sis.
Thank you.